what were some of the terms that you had an advisor help you to paper correctly? And the reason I ask, the listeners of this show are really into the details because they are going to go through the sale of their company. And so they're listening because they want to avoid some of the mistakes that others have made. They want to be informed. They don't want to look naive going into the process. And so I'd be curious to know, even though it might not appeal to the masses, it appeals to, I think, our listeners to know kind of the details. So like, were there what could you share one of the deal terms that you had to get right or get some advice on how to paper it or write it so that it was kind of a founder friendly terms?
So from the LOI stage, I'll talk about the SBA as well. But from the LOI stage, I just thought it wasn't binding. So there was no risk in me signing it, right? So I thought, okay, let me just go ahead and sign it. But in hindsight, I was advised that it's not good to sign things, even in the LOI, because those can come back when you're negotiating later on. So I can't remember what the details were, but there were small kind of wording changes kind of thing that were maybe just to protect me. So I can't remember the details there, but there were a few things because the company had so much cash in the bank. We were sitting on millions in the bank, and I knew I wanted to be paid out, basically have the cash paid to me as well. So there were some issues there with kind of tax implications and that kind of thing. And I'd taken directors' loans that once the company is acquired in the UK, that loan is paid off, and there's a tax payment that goes back to the company that then should go back to the previous owner of the company. So things like small details like this that only kind of an experienced M&A law firm would understand. So there were details like that. There were things like having certain assets excluded. In the deal, like I was building the side project while working on Sendable, making sure that side project or any other code I'd worked on was excluded. But more things like warranties, like making sure that I was protected under the warranties. I can't remember the details now. It was over a year ago, but mainly around tax implications. And because we were selling to a US private equity firm, they didn't always understand the tax side of things. So it took a lot of back and forth for them to get how the tax system works in the UK. And then our legal team would go to their legal team and kind of get these things sorted out. So I guess those were things I wouldn't have noticed or picked up on if I hadn't had a legal firm helping me. And actually, at first, I was using my personal legal firm, my personal lawyer who was advising me. And they weren't really experienced enough, because the ASG actually took a very well-known, experienced M&A firm, to work with them in the UK. And they actually advised me to get a better firm because I had this personal law firm helping who didn't know anything about tech or SaaS, didn't understand certain terms like MRR or, churn. So I ended up going with 𝙁𝙊𝙐𝙇𝙊𝙁, which is a very well-known sort of M&A tech firm in the UK. And they were able to take over and just help with all those little warranties, which is so dangerous,
Yeah. There's no faster way to blow up a deal than taking an inexperienced lawyer who knows nothing about corporate finance and having them represent you, because they think their job as the lawyer is to protect you, which it is. But in protecting you, they're so overzealous in their approach that they oftentimes blow up deals because they don't understand what's market, what are terms that are normal and like in the normal course of business versus ones that are outside of market. And so I think the moral of the story for my listeners is get yourself a lawyer who understands M&A, who does M&A. It will pay for itself many, many, many times over.
Thanks for watching today's video. To grab your free copy of John Warrillow's best-selling book, Built to Sell, head over to 𝑏uilttosell.com. John's book, Built to Sell, has been endorsed by well-known entrepreneurs like Tim Ferriss, Patrick Bet-David, Dan Lok, amongst many others. But don't just hear it from me, hear it from them.
The most well-known book is Built to Sell. That would be the mega best-selling book. Built to Sell gave me the steps, like exactly what to do, right?
One of them being a book I read in 2012 titled Built to Sell that I've recommended to any entrepreneur out there.
There's a good book actually that people can read, which gives them pretty much the gist in the title, and that is Built to Sell.
This book talks about how to get your life back once your business takes over, how to focus on doing what you're supposed to be doing well, and how to build a scalable business that can be sold. Building a business that can be sold is much different than building a profitable business that relies on you and you are the bottleneck inside your entire company.